Greetings. I'm just out here in my garden this morning and I thought, oh, there's some magic happening out here, and I thought maybe you might be interested in seeing. I haven't even brushed my hair yet this morning, so please forgive the way I look. And to do you a favor, I will turn the camera off of me today and turn it onto my garden. Okay, I'm not even sure. It's still a bright glare. The sun's really not out yet. This morning there's a marine layer, but so I'm not sure what you can see. I have a terrific glare where I am. But I wanted to start out with, this is the plant, if you follow me on Facebook, that we were trying desperately to save. We thought it was nitrogen deficient because it's yellow. It turns out to be a form of bean that has a chartreuse leaf, and it's going to have, you're starting to see it's getting some, maybe you can see, hopefully, some beautiful flowers, red flowers. I don't know how close I can get because I can't see it, but here we have some red flowers here. And there's going to be some glorious beans, nothing yet. The nasturtiums are just taking over the bed. My cucumbers, which I am growing up a vine, I've gotten a few cucumbers so far. Here's some, perhaps you can see there. I'm not sure where I'm pointing here. Some baby cucumbers. But we are training the cucumbers up this trellis. And the beans are going crazy. I've had quite a few beans. They're going crazy. They've gotten all the way to the top. And now they're starting to come back down again, but I have beans galore. My husband just picked, well, there's more. There's more in there. Just beans everywhere. This has been a magical spring. Magical spring because we just don't have any, not a lot of heat. It's just been gorgeous. It's been like, you know, the kind of springs we used to get in Pennsylvania when I lived there. Getting some blueberries here. Strawberries are growing. My kale is going crazy, but this is what I really wanted to show you. I don't know if I could even, I don't even know if you have a frame of reference for this. I'll step back. But this zucchini plant is like from the land of the giants. It is so tall. Here is my hand. Here is my hand. Here's my hand. And look at the size of the leaf. I don't even know if you can see that. Like I said, I can't see. But we've gotten quite a few zucchinis. There's one in there ready to pick. I don't know if you can see. But here again, this one too. This is another variety of zucchini, which, I mean, it comes up, it's like as tall as I am. And we have some zucchini in here. This is a different variety. Different variety. But anyway, gorgeous. And then back here, we are training, this is cantaloupe going up here on this trellis. We're trying to train. And watermelon. This is going to be watermelon. And we're training it up this trellis. Maybe you can see that. I'm probably making you very dizzy the way I'm shooting this. But things are growing out of control. Out of control this year. Beautiful eggplant is flowering in a container here. And this I had to show you. Now this is taller than my head. This plant. Can we get the gist of this plant in front of me? This is one tomato plant. And the magic about this plant is it is a volunteer. I have no clue what variety it is, and there's lots of greens. It's full of green tomatoes. So we'll have to wait and see what happens to those tomatoes. But it just has flowers and, oh, it's just glorious. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And back here we have more green tomatoes. Beautiful, lots of flowers. These are my heirloom tomatoes I have growing up a vine here. A lot of green. But every plant is a different variety, but every plant is full. Every plant is full of tomatoes and flowers. And there's my basil that's trying to flower. We don't want that. No flowering. Just a little basil plant that I stuck in there. But anyway, I wanted to show you that because, oh my, it's just magic. But there's one more thing I had to show you. So just let me turn, I'll be right back. Okay, but this is the most magical thing of all. I'm out in my gazebo, and some of you might remember a while ago I did a video on how to make a dream catcher. Here's my dream catcher. And look what is inside my dream catcher. A bird of some kind has built a nest in there. There's nothing in the nest right now, but we've always noticed a lot of activity here. Baby birds in the gazebo, and I was so excited about this. We've been so worried about the birds since the neighbor kind of butchered the trees where a lot of the birds were nesting. So this is just such a magical, wonderful experience to see. So later, when I'm sure there's no activity in the nest at all, I can get that down and get a closer look at that. But I just thought you might be interested in seeing that. Okay, I've brushed my hair. I've come in where I can see. I apologize. I don't even know if I have anything of value to show you there in my garden. But when my husband came in this morning, he was moving some things around put some things in the gazebo because we're getting ready to go away, and we've been moving things around, moving some things out of the trailer. And he noticed the bird's nest in that dream catcher that I made, and he just had to come in. He took a picture and brought it right into me. So I had to share. I knew I had to share that. The reason I'm bringing this up, you know, our garden this year has, and I wanted to try to capture a little bit of what is happening in our garden. I know some of you who live in the Midwest and some other places where you have beautiful gardening weather think this is no big deal. But here in California, like, we are blessed that we can garden all year. But it's really tricky. Summer gardens, when you think of things like tomatoes and squashes and summer squashes and, you know, beans and things like that, melons, which is when you need to grow them here in the summer, just like anywhere else, are very tricky because our spring, we have our winter gardens in, and then we have to get our beds cleared in time. Those things harvested out and get our summer items in early enough that they benefit, if they can, a little bit from if we have any winter rains left over. But before the temperature soars, some years we have very, very mild winters, and then, you know, as soon as April, it's like 90 degrees, which, you know, for seedlings is not a good thing, because seedlings need to be able to grow and get a size before the heat of the true heat, summer heat comes, which is necessary for the tomatoes to ripen and stuff. We need the heat, but we need to have a nice plant that will support that. This year, for whatever reason, we have had very, you know, overcast days, a lot of overcast days. We call it here May gray, June gloom. The tourists hate it because the tourists can't wait to come here and thinking, oh, it's always beautiful. Well, it's beautiful a lot of the time, but we have this overcast. You know, you have to wait till we call it burns off. The sun will come through that marine layer that we get here. Those of us who live close to the coast have this phenomenon happening, and but it's beautiful for your garden because it gives the garden a chance. Like I said, the moisture gives those plants a true opportunity to really grow. Those zucchini plants are like from the land of the giants to me. I've grown zucchini every year And I usually have a, if I have a manageable size plant, just enough to feed a massive, massive, massive supply of zucchinis. But trying to keep the plant alive long enough is always the trick, because the leaves are so damaged and wilted and dried up and whatever. This year, the zucchini plants are bigger than I am. They're huge. They're huge. The beans are already growing down the sides of my trellis, and they have not been in there that long. My tomatoes are taking off like crazy. We have been harvesting. I have some pickles made already with the cucumbers, and I have, I don't know how many bags of beans already frozen, and it's just been amazing. But when I saw, and I wanted to share it, I did want to share it, but when I saw the bird's nest in the dream catcher, I just knew I had to come on and tell you. I have said it a million times before. I will continue to say it. You will hear from me every time you ask. The true magic that we have in our lives is not found on our altars, or on our work tables, our tarot tables, or in our kitchens. We talk about having magic in those places all the time. We can, and we all strive to do that. We work hard, setting those spaces, clearing those spaces, making them into spaces where magic can truly happen. But in your garden and out in nature, the magic happens all by itself. It happens all by itself. And if you're lucky enough to notice, it's magic that you can have as a part of your life. And that's what I want to say. That's what I want this to be about. So many of our family members and a lot of our friends, ours personally, do not have time. They say, I don't have the time to spend out in my garden. I don't have the time to garden. I don't have the time to be out on my porch listening to birds. I don't have the time to take a hike through nature. I don't have the time to watch, the butterflies, or to watch the bees, or we were watching. The reason we noticed the gazebo and all the birds out there, the activity, we were so happy to see, because after the neighbors just really decapitated so many trees, and even took a lot off of our tree, like half of our tree away. They were over the fence, I understand, but at the same time it was narrowing the field where these birds can actually nest. So we were so worried about the birds, and we had seen a lot of activity recently with a lot of baby birds. They come and do their flying lessons all the time when they're learning to fly, and you see them go in little groups here to here to here, and we saw a lot of them. So we were happy to see that the birds were still around. We weren't sure where they were building their nests. We had some in the honeysuckle, and we had some in the lemon tree. But now we know we also had some in the gazebo in the dream catcher. Oh, what a blessing. Anyway, just wanted to tell you, wanted to catch up. Thank you for watching. I'm Rebecca, and I wish you blessings.